That was a pretty poor clap, so let's do a little bit better than that. Thank you. I've got the privilege of working for the new ATDC. I'm also a parallel entrepreneur. And those of you who know me well also know that I'm a pretty lazy guy. In fact, I'm so lazy that I gave Colin 19 blank slides. So we're going to really enjoy this background behind me. So what we're going to talk about tonight is what it is to be a parallel entrepreneur. I'm going to look at my notes here because I don't have any slides. What we're not going to talk about is how to be a tycoon. We're not going to talk about how to win the startup lottery. What we're going to talk about is how you can be successful building a startup. So the first thing to understand about a startup is that the world is changing. Everything is different nowadays. When your parents got out of college, or grandparents, they went off and got a job. They worked for the same company their entire life. That is not the way it's going to be any longer. What's going to happen in the future is all of us are going to become free agents. We're all going to have startups. So right now the problem is about 2/3 of technology startups tend to fail. They don't survive, and it's for a lot of reasons. And the primary one is that a technology startup is a very risky thing. There's all kinds of market risks. Like I said, there's all kinds of technology risks, customers picking them up, having enough money to finish it. So what I'm going to talk about is a different approach. And one of the things that entrepreneurs tend to do is they fall in love with their idea, and you've probably heard that before. And entrepreneurs pick an idea, and then they just stick with it until they die. And they can't seem to get away from that. And it's almost like, your typical nerdy guy that ends up marrying the first girl he sleeps with. Right? We cannot do that and be successful. So what you need to do if you're going to be a parallel entrepreneur is you need to brainstorm. You need to come up with dozens and dozens of great business ideas. And then you need to judge them based on how easy they are to implement, how successful, and how quickly you can bring them to market. Don't go out there and come up with something that takes an enormous amount of capital that's going to take years to develop. You need to come up with 4 or 5 ideas and focus on those. The other thing that you really need to do is that you need to have a partner. So each of us needs to make sure that we've got someone that we can count on and work with. In fact, I suggest that we should have one partner who is focused on the sales and the business development side, another partner that's focused on the product. You need one guy that gets up in the morning thinking, I'm going to write some code, or I'm going to work on developing the next version of what I'm doing. But you need another guy that's going to get up every morning and just want to go out and kill. And he's the one that's going to be focused on sales. A lot of technology guys, if they were going to go out and open up a laundromat, they would go out there and start looking at, how can I innovate the process? How can I maybe clean clothes while you're still wearing them, right? How can I do a drive-through laundromat? But you shouldn't be doing that. What you should be doing is focusing on what other people do well. Look at how businesses that are successful and focus on that. And stop trying to be so novel and so original. But once again, I'm not talking about you that are looking to be tycoons or think that you're going to be this huge, successful startup that kind of founded next Twitter. We're talking about people that want to actually build a business and be successful with that business. One of the other things I try to tell people is they really need to focus on bootstrapping. You've heard the phrase that cash is king. Well, equity is king squared. So lost my place. You guys keep laughing at me. Bootstrapping, thank you. So another part of that is that I think that perseverance is a little bit overrated. So you hear people that talk about, people told me it wouldn't work, but I kept at it, and I kept at it, and I kept at it, and finally broke through. Well, you know what? If everybody's telling you that the idea is wrong and you're not going to be successful, maybe you should listen to them. I really think that you need to figure out a way to determine quickly if that business is going to fail, if it's going to survive. Another thing that people do is when their business starts to take off, and trust me, if you have 5 businesses, one of them possibly could start to go big, start to be successful, gain customers. What I want you to do is avoid the temptation to go out and hire people. Avoid the temptation to go out and raise money. Because you are going to find out that your business gets away from you very, very quickly. So focus on building a small business with a partner, but having multiple businesses going. And that's what it means to be a parallel entrepreneur. I'd take more side if it was me. So I'm going to finish up. This little talk was inspired by Tim Ferriss, the author of The 4-Hour Workweek. It's a phenomenal book. It's been a bestseller for years. Go read that. It's inspiring. I think Tim Ferriss got one thing wrong, And instead of doing one startup for 4 hours a week, do 5 for 20 hours a week. But go read his book and learn some of his techniques and approaches. And I think you guys have a chance of one of those taking off and supporting. So thanks a lot.